What do you know about aliens and UFOs? I've never been thinking about them more now that they fit into the look over there category. UFO sightings are everywhere. Maybe we should talk about that now, as it seems to be what we're instructed to do. I concur. And do you know what's weird about aliens? The lack of genitals? No. Well, yeah, certainly that. But also, back when the government denied alien existence, if you did believe in aliens, you were considered a mindless nutjob. Complete mindless nutjobs. And now that the government is constantly teasing us with alien existence, you're considered a mindless nutjob if you don't believe in them. Complete mindless nutjobs. And those same people used to say that the government denying alien existence was evidence that they do exist. Like defiant children. And now those same people saying that the government suggesting aliens are out there is evidence that aliens don't exist. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Really? Are you? No, not at all. I'm one of the people who never believed that aliens existed because the government said they don't. Do you believe in them now? Of course! The government is telling us that they do exist.
Squirrel! What were we just talking about? Doesn't matter. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Radowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there definitely is a plethora of absolutely crazy news to get into today, as of course the President of the United States just had a surprise trip to Ukraine. What's going on here? What are some of the larger consequences and details here that of course the very war-hungry corporate media don't want you to know about? Well, we're going to be talking about that plus a lot more, as well as a major anti-war rally that actually happened in Washington, D.C., which I definitely think is worth talking about, especially in the midst of the insanity that we are all caught up in. Lots of things to discuss. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by the very talented Awaken with JP. We only played a small clip of his latest video, which we're going to be linking down in the description below if you want to watch the full video. I definitely recommend subscribing to his YouTube channel, as he usually always nails it out of the park. So if you haven't subscribed to his channel, that link is also down in the description below. Definitely go check him out and all the incredible work that he has been doing for many years, as his latest video detailing a psyop within a psyop is absolutely brilliant, especially with all the ways that very powerful people distract us, have us second questioning and guessing ourselves while they have their way with us. So yeah. Also, we need more comedy in this world, especially comedy from South Park that looks like they potentially might be getting sued after demonstrating a brilliant portrayal of Harry and Meghan Markle during their previous episode, which, according to the Daily Mail, there are now claims being made that lawyers are being looked into to take down this extremely brilliant and definitely worth watching episode of South Park that absolutely doesn't hold back on their criticisms. And again, I shouted them out in the last episode, and they truly do deserve a lot more respect than they actually are getting. This as they expose a lot of the phonies in our society, and there's a lot of them, including high-level, highly promoted in the algorithm, democratically backed and supported influencers like Brooklyn Dad, that now, according to the latest revelations, was being paid tens of thousands of dollars by a pro-Biden super PAC while he was launching attacks on individuals like Bernie Sanders, doing the shilling for Big Pharma, and essentially being a so-called influencer for the Biden administration and promoting every single one of their policies without even daring to question it. This, as a lot of people in the social media sphere were kind of asking themselves, how is this guy getting so many retweets? How many views with such horrible takes? Well, there was a big Democratic political machine behind him and a super PAC that probably played a major role here. All of this as his fellow Democratic Biden-loving compatriot Don Lemon is now also in hot water. This as today CNN is denying that Don Lemon has been benched and that he is not axed from his morning show after being demoted from, of course, his primetime show. This as Don Lemon is in some hot water after saying that, quote, Nikki Haley is past her prime, which really pissed off Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins there. older women themselves that weren't too pleased with the Don Lemon's spicy take on Nikki Haley running for the presidency of the United States. This, as CNN ratings have been absolutely in the gutter, continuing to go down dramatically as they are having a very hard time getting off of their Trump derangement syndrome. All of this as Tucker Carlson is getting a huge surge of viewers, which is about to be expected to go up dramatically. This, as Axios is reporting today, that the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, has just given Tucker Carlson access to 41,000 hours of Capitol surveillance footage from January 6th. Yes, you heard that correctly. Tucker Carlson, according to Axios right now, has in his possession the full tapes of exactly what happened on January 6th. No spin, no suggestive editing. He has 41,000 hours of videotapes, which probably him and his team at Fox News are going through right now, and probably will be reporting on the findings as they come out. Now, 41,000 hours is a lot of hours. What is this footage going to reveal? What are we going to find out because of it? Well, I think probably a little different version of events than we were officially told by the government and corporate media. But that's just my 2 cents here about my opinion here. And I say that because most things in our society are wrong, and this is why I created LukeUnfiltered.com, our own website where you get to sign up, become a member, and not only get access to 3 masterclasses, exclusive merchandise only available to you, a brand new video almost every single day that is unfiltered, uncensored, but also access to our forum, which I am most proud about, since we're having some really awesome, incredible conversations with you guys. As the last video we did, we talked about specifically dating in this kind of crazy world, all based on a question that you guys asked me through our forum, as we are continuing to go through our AMA, as of course, we have a lot of members. We have a lot of really incredible, smart individuals that have signed up and have become a member of our quasi-private, not-so-private, secret, not-so-secret society, where we talk about being the best, strongest, most incredible version of ourselves. Lots of feedback, lots of audience participation. This is incredible, and if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Signing up and being a part of this very important, ever-growing and expanding community, where we will be continuing the conversation right after this video. So if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up right here, right now, and I will see you there right after this video. All of this is, of course, we have to talk about our main story, and that, of course, is Joe Biden's trip to Europe, which Politico was building up a few days ago with their headline article reading, quote, "One of the decisive moments of his presidency, Biden heads to a troubled Europe." This, as many people were speculating if the President of the United States was going to be visiting Ukraine, and yes, he actually did. A trip that, of course, a lot of people are talking about right now, as, of course, there are a lot of geopolitical ramifications to this, including, of course, not only the prolongment of this larger proxy conflict, but, of course, the emboldenment of Ukraine that has been armed by the United States and fighting this larger proxy conflict. This, as the security chief of Kiev came out just moments ago and said, quote, "Our tanks will be parked on Moscow's Red Square, and that will be justice." This, as of course he's also vowing to expel all Russian troops from Ukrainian soil, as he went on and compared the current president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, to, of course, the leader of Germany during the conflict in 1939. This, as many Ukrainian officials are also warning that the bloodiest battles are yet to come. This, as in large part, the conflict has mainly been a stalemate between these two larger superpowers and the forces that they have amassed against each other in the territory of Ukraine. Now, the meeting between Volodymyr Zelensky and Joe Biden wasn't the only eye-catching meeting for me personally today, as of course it's also important to note that today, during these meetings as well, former U.S. ambassador and, of course, chief neoconservative warmonger and overall just really awful human being John Bolton also met with Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the same Prime Minister that directly intervened, flew to Ukraine and made sure that peace talks were prevented and this war was prolonged. This, as we're also learning today, that the White House did warn Russia and the president of that country that Joe Biden was making a visit to Kiev, specifically reaching out to Moscow's hours before this visit. This as this trip was left secret to everyone but to the Russian government and Ukrainian government. This as some people are criticizing the president of the United States, saying, hey, you know, there's some people in Ohio, there's some of your constituents that could use your help too. This as Biden has announced another additional $500 million in aid to Ukraine, a country and government that is known for, of course, having a lot of corrupt bureaucrats that usually take the money for themselves. This as the president of Ukraine today is also warning about the dangers of China while visiting with the president of the United States, specifically warning of a new axis of evil, which he describes between China and Russia, which would, quote, spark World War III. This as some legal analysts and political scholars are already arguing that we are already in World War III, and many people don't even realize it, and I think they make very compelling arguments. This as China today is denying claims that they're considering giving, of course, weapons, munitions, and ammunition to Russia. This as it's also important to note here that China and Russia have had extensive military ties before, and many times political agreement with each other when it came to, of course, questioning and pushing back against U.S. military foreign policy doctrine. This as it's also important to note here that China also has a lot of extensive trade ties to Ukraine, a lot of contracts there that looks like BlackRock is going to be taken over, which China's probably going to be really pissed about. This as China is flying balloons over the United States, launching green laser beams over Hawaii, and now has also announced successfully that they have tested a new space strike weapon, which could, quote, overwhelm an enemy's missile defense system ahead of a nuclear attack. So yeah, all reassuring news. This as Russia has even publicly bragged about a large-scale exercise that they conducted of their strategic nuclear forces. This as Russian politicians and media figures are also now accusing Kiev of, quote, planning to stage a nuclear incident. They said this before, they're saying this again. Could this be the precursor of a nuclear war? A limited nuclear bomb strike inside of Ukraine? The escalating of tensions? The bringing of the world into global chaos? Well, what do you think? And what do you think of Biden's trip? Is it bold? Is it courageous? Or do you agree with the sentiment of many Republicans saying, hey, he should be in Ohio helping the people there and not just giving a blank check to continuing a proxy war that endangers the livelihood of everyone on the face of this earth? What do you think it is? Especially if you disagree with some of the things I mentioned here. I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video coming your way right now on lukeuncensored.com. See you there.